You are listening to the Bright Life Podcast, all about ways to stay inspired, chase your dreams, and find more gratitude in the highs and lows of the journey. I'm your host, Jessica Johnson. I'm a business owner, a part-time digital nomad, a self-growth junkie, a believer in other big-hearted women, and am all about sharing tips, tricks, lessons learned, and encouragement so we can all live our biggest, brightest lives. You ready? Let's do this. Hi. So happy to be here with you. This is one of my favorite parts of the week, and I have something super exciting to tell you about to start off this episode. We're going to get right into it. Now, if you haven't heard on my Instagram or emails or anything like that, my program, Bright Life Biz, is enrolling now. If you're listening to this on Thursday, tomorrow, Friday, June 2nd, is your last day to get into this round. The next round starts on June 12th. And if you have been looking for something to give you more freedom or fulfillment as your own boss, where you have the option to work from anywhere, to do work you love and work on projects and with clients that are fulfilling to you, to be able to choose your own schedule, and to either build another income stream or make even more than in your 9-to-5, copywriting is what gave me that ability. And I have been on all sides of copywriting. I have been in corporate, mentoring writers, hiring writers, leading content strategy for global brands. And then I've been on the outside, actually building my own business and agency as a writer, pitching publications like HuffPost and writing for publications like Ad Age. I have a degree in journalism, and so I put it all together into a program that can give more women more resources, more freedom, more flexibility, more rest, and more creative fulfillment in the world, doing work they love for causes they care about. So I'm super passionate about it, as you can probably hear, and I would love to mentor you. If you've been looking for that thing or praying for that opportunity or solution, and you feel like this is it, or something in your gut is saying, that's interesting, then definitely DM me. Go to my Instagram. I have a live Q&A, both with myself, and then I have another one with a graduate who's taken the program. So super candid, super open, answering your questions and telling you more about copywriting. No matter how much experience you're starting with, it doesn't matter. The program's designed to teach you everything you need to know. Week by week, you both learn how to write and then how to get clients and build an actual business. So by the end of summer, you could have an online business set up and a skill that you can monetize the rest of your life. How cool is that, right? So go check that out. It's at brightlifebiz.com, or again, you know where to find me. I'm at Hi Jessica Johnson on Instagram, and you can send me a DM if you have any trouble finding it. But would love to answer your questions or support you in that and get to know you better and all the things. Okay, so today let's continue for the podcast episode with our theme, where we're taking on one chapter each week of my book, Your Bright Life, and giving you a little nugget to show you a sampling of the book. Now, this is in addition to the book. This is not something from the chapters. It's just as I'm thinking about each of the chapters, each chapter has its own theme that's part of this creation process towards your brightest life. And chapter 3 is all about embodying. So whenever you have a big dream, it's not just about the actions you take, it's also about who you become. At least that's been my journey and revelation along this path. And so chapter 3 in the book is all about embodying. And I think it's a really, really fun one because, we all know the practical steps we can take and the checklists and to-do lists. And, I love a good to-do list. But what you often find when you get to your goal or to your dream is what you're most thankful for isn't even that you did what you set out to do or that you got the accolade, but it's who you became, isn't it? It's who you became when you had to show up or wake up early every morning or figure something out or do the hard things or speak on that stage or be scared and do it anyway. That's what you're so thankful for most often. And so chapter 3 in my book, Your Bright Life, which you can get on Amazon or on Audible, all the places, is about embodying. And as I was thinking about embodying for today's episode, I wanted to offer just another lens. that you can use today to go and think about stepping into this next level version of yourself. So choose an area of your life that you have a goal in. Let's say it's to become a business owner, or maybe for you it's a health goal. Maybe for you, you're thinking about becoming a mother. Whatever it is, I want you to think through the business owner version of me, or the mama version of me, the in-love version of me, the version of me who has hit, this goal in my career. Fill in those dots, like the business owner version of me, ... Who is she? What are her habits? What are her boundaries? What are her priorities? What are her relationships? How does she talk to herself? How does she dress? What thoughts does she think? This can be a really beautiful journal prompt. So whatever that goal is in your life that you're thinking through, go and write this out. So put that kind of at the top of the page, and then spend a little bit of time getting to know, like, if you were already in that relationship you wanted, if you already had the health and fitness that you wanted, if you were hitting 10K months in business or whatever your goal is, who is that woman? And run through the things I talked about. How does she talk to herself? What does she think about? What does she wear? What are her habits? What does she pay attention to? I once did this for myself when I was working on a goal in business, and I was frustrated because I thought, why am I not at this goal? I have been consistent. I have been chipping away at this. I already feel like this person who has achieved this goal. So like, where is it? When you get that way, when you've been at it a while and you're just like, where is this goal? I've been doing the things for a while now. But when I sat down and I really journaled and thought about this woman who had achieved something that was, my goal at the time, just a little bit further ahead than where I was, I actually really noticed a lot of differences in how she took care of herself, how she talked to herself, how she walked into a room, the kind of confidence she had, the decisions she was making, the way she was spending her time. And it gave me a lot to work with to see I have a ways to go to embody this person. No wonder there's a little bit of gap in my reality because I have not quite embodied this person. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm already there. So like, where is this solution? Where is this outcome? And it's like, no, there's a lot here for you to play with to step into this next level version of yourself. So even down to like, what thoughts does she think? It might be as simple as going from maybe if current you thinks, I can't do this or that thing. What does that person, that version of you who has the business or the success or the joy or the freedom or whatever you seek, what does she think instead? Does she think I can't do this thing? Or does she think, how can I do this? How can I make it possible? Does she think to herself, I won't be able to figure it out? Or is she like on another plane, a little bit ahead of you, thinking thoughts like, how can I figure it out? How can I make this work? How can I find a solution? Does she think things like, I can't afford it, there's no way? Or has her mindset shifted to a place of abundance and thinking, how can I afford it? How can I be resourceful? How can I make this work? Is this truly an expense, or is this an investment in my future that will pay me back so much more than this one little moment in time? Instead of thinking things like someone else is more this, that, or the other thing, what does she say instead? She probably thinks more about her own unique assets and how she's going to be perfect for the people she wants to help, and how she does have qualities that she can use no matter the circumstances that are an asset. So do you start to see that it's almost like you get to see these two parallel tracks of yourself, or maybe there's you today, and then there's next level you who's gotten to that next level. And it's almost like trying on these two different hats or personalities where they're both you, but you can tap into that version of you who's just a little bit further ahead, or who has achieved the success that you desire. And how fun that you can actually think to the thoughts that she's thinking. You can play with the habits she probably keeps, the boundaries she probably has, And what's so interesting is all of those things are kind of just pointing you to a version of yourself that wants to come out in some way, right? Like you and I will both come up with different boundaries, different priorities, different thoughts, different actions and relationship dynamics and all of this stuff. And I think what's beautiful about that is your next level, one, it's already known by you because you're coming up with these things that are so different from me. And then two, you kind of have the formula to get there, right? Your brain and your body and what's coming out in journaling is already telling you who you need to become, what you need to do, how you need to shift your habits and your thoughts in order to get to that next level. So you're kind of like reverse engineering it or hacking into it in a way where if you're ever thinking, I don't know how to get to that place, how do I become someone who has a podcast or writes a book or builds a business or gets on stage, ask yourself, who this version of me who does this, who is she? And get curious again about her habits, boundaries, relationships, thoughts, priorities, how she speaks to herself. Let that stuff fill in your journal or in your meditations or however you're thinking about it, and use that as the roadmap to practice emulating to embody and become this woman. That is kind of like, that's your stepping stones. That's your roadmap right there. And the amazing part is it's right inside of you. I heard one more way that I'll offer it to you to think about it is my business mentor. I was on a mastermind call a few weeks ago, and you can put it this way too. So maybe this is another journal prompt or reframe that you use, but my mentor, Lacey Seitz, who's amazing. You can follow her on Instagram if you're looking for more empowering women to follow. But she said, you can put it like this: ever since I blank, so ever since I moved into the home, moved to the city, started the business, got the client, comma, I fill in the blank. So what happened? What do you do differently once you move into the city or get settled in the home or have the relationship or scale the business or build the dream, whatever? Ever since you do this thing, what do you do differently? And that can just be a nice way to set up in your mind almost an invitation to embody this person and to link it with an action or a place or a thing in your life. So ever since you begin going to the gym, ever since you began making yourself, a healthy breakfast, ever since you began showing up on social media, what shifts? I feel more confident. I get more clients with more ease. I have grown my business rapidly. But it just allows you to kind of set the framework for, if I'm taking this different action, I now become someone who gets this different result. So I hope that is helpful to you. Take whatever makes sense to you or feels like your thing and pass on the rest, of course, as always. But if you're looking for more around embodying, go to Amazon or Audible, get my book. It talks all about where I first discovered this practice, how I used my surroundings, my environment to call in a dream job offer to New York City back in my 20s, and how I really used it since in finances, in love, in so many parts of my life to say, this is what I desire. How can I bring this into my life all around me and use that in conjunction with the action it takes to get something and to bring it to life? So hope this gives you a little nugget to think about this week. And again, if part of your future and part of your next level vision for yourself is to have a business or to have more freedom and flexibility to travel or to work from anywhere or to choose your schedule, then definitely consider Bright Life Biz. Tomorrow's your last day to get in, June 2nd. So depending on when you listen to this, shoot me a DM if you're a little too late and see what we can do to get you in. But I would love to support you and give you a skill that you can use to make a profitable business the rest of your life, whether you desire another income stream or a full online business as your own boss. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to talk next Thursday. Thank you so much for listening in. If you love this episode, I have 2 things you are going to love. One is a free copywriter training full of 5 steps to build a profitable copywriting business as your own boss, no matter how much experience you're starting with. Copywriting is what took me from a 9 to 5 to freedom as my own boss to travel, choose my schedule, replace my corporate income, and have time to work on creative projects like this podcast. And I'd love to give other women the same opportunity. Another, of course, is my book, Your Bright Life. You can find it on Amazon or Audible, where I narrate the audiobook, so it's kind of like a podcast in book form. All of these things are in the podcast show notes. Thank you again for listening. I appreciate you and your review so much, and I'll see you back here next Thursday.